Hey everybody, back. It's cold. Got the heater going out here in the shop. It's been cold, but tonight when I was at work, we were getting some snow and some wintry mix. It was pretty gross. Which means I get off early because I work outside, and we can't do anything if the ground is wet. So yeah, I had some time, and I got this 1983 Audi Quattro, 1983 boxing of the Audi Quattro Rally finished up, so I wanted to do a final for you guys, and I'm going to go ahead and do an unboxing too on the Mazda MX-5 Roadster that I showed you the other day, because I'm going to start doing some body prep on that, get that in primer, so I can get it painted and get going on that so I can give it to my mom for Christmas. So anyway, here is the completed car. These decals were shot, so we got the replacements from Classic Racing Resins. I'm glad he had those available, because otherwise we wouldn't have this built. I just did some pretty minor weathering. I wanted it to be a little bit dirty, maybe sort of like a first stage amount of dirt or something like that, and a little bit on the chassis as well. I'll put some pictures at the end so you can see a little bit better. This is typical, even for being an 83, typical Tamiya quality. The fit was excellent. It was a little different. There was a lot of molded in detail. I know they've done a couple kits like that even recently. Let me hang on a second. I'll pop this hood off, which is pretty tight fit. Most of this in here is just one piece. The block and cylinder head is one piece, and then you attach the turbo inlet and the tanks. I had a conversation with Bruce from Bruce's Eclectic-World and Pete from across the pond in jolly old England, and it had a distributor, and it was in my tweezers, and it got swallowed by a wormhole. I told Bruce that it was going to be found by Odo in the halls of Deep Space Nine, because that's how far away it went. I never saw it again. Don't know what happened to it. Cats probably ate it. I don't know. And I was just going to leave it alone, but after talking to them, I realized it just wasn't that big of a deal. I should just go ahead and take the time to scratch another one, which I did out of some random bits of sprue. And so we wired it. I didn't have any more 5-cylinder distributors laying around, so that's just a couple pieces of sprue stuck together and drilled out. And then I added a little coil on the firewall, because I didn't have one of those. But yeah, that's all molded in, and then, most of the chassis, it's just almost like a Tamiya curbside. It's got the engine plug, and then this is all molded in as well, so we had to do a lot of detailed painting down here. The exhaust and muffler is a second piece, except for where it goes under the axle, which is molded in, and then the actual tailpipe. But, a nice, typical Tamiya kit. No complaints, really. I went ahead and put the fog lights with the covers on there. When you look at pictures of the real car, a lot of times they didn't have these, but, they just look cool. It's just the rally look, Interior, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see anything in there. It's pretty dark. Anyways, I added some belts and just some little stuff, make it look a little better, a little more realistic. And yeah, like I said, I'll throw some pictures up at the end. Fun build. I enjoyed it, and it wasn't too difficult, but it had some nice details, and I think it was a nice result, so I'll be happy to have that in my shelf, on my shelf, I should say. So having said that, we're going to get into this Mazda MX-5 Roadster. I already took the bags off and everything because I washed it. I like to wash everything. So I just wanted to show you guys this before I started doing any prep work on it or anything. We have the Miata body, which, you know, support so it doesn't get crushed. I'll have to clean that up a little bit, but no big deal there. It's very clean as far as seams or anything like that. I'll probably try to get a coat of primer on it, sand it a little bit, rough it up because it's very smooth. Try to get a coat of primer on it and see what sort of mold lines or anything might show up, because there's just not much. It's a very nice piece. We got some occupants of the Miata, or just one occupant, I guess. There's a face. This is very odd. It looks like this is Mrs. Miata, so I don't know if I can make that look like my mom or not. I don't usually do any sort of figure work. This one's pretty intense. It's got hair, different hair, and I mean arms and front and back. It's a fancy little figure woman there. I mean, tree with the wheels, the seats. My mom's interior is black, so this will all be shades of black, semi-gloss and flat, and you know, some variations, some nice enough little brakes. The wheels look just like that. Steering wheel and a nice separate exhaust, which will make the chassis easier to paint without having to fight that. Got this one little chrome tree here, which I'm just going to leave in here. So there's not much to see. It looks like, I don't know what these are. Some small stuff. Headlight buckets. Some really small stuff that I'm just not sure where it's going to go. We'll get into that later. The black tree, door panels, headrests, some sort of mesh, probably some pieces to the front bumper if I had to guess. Interior tray, tub, I mean. We got left and right hand drive choices here. Obviously we'll be going with the left-handed driving position. The grille, suspension parts, wipers depending on which side of the car you're driving on as well. More suspension parts. And oh, this has got to be the down top. Actually, don't know if this has an up top or not. Didn't really look at it that close yet. Just leave this as well in the bag. Typical, very nice Tamiya tires. Hold on a second. Oh, these have some nonsense letters on them just to give it some depth, I guess. But no name tires. But nice tread, and the polycaps. Typical Tamiya stuff. And another bag I'm going to leave is the clear headlights, marker lights, and the glass. Doesn't look like yet. I don't think there is a top-up option on this. It's just going to be top-down, which is fine. She drives it top-down 90% of the time and doesn't drive it in the winter at all, so the top rarely goes up other than for storage. And one more white tree. We have the chassis. That looks like two halves of the differential and drive shaft with the link. Coilovers, very nice. That chassis is very nice. And this is the engine. It's a curbside kit, so it's just the skid plate and the transmission. 6-speed manual. Looks like half shafts off of the differential somewhere. clutch pedal and brake pedal. That looks like door handles, which is kind of nice. You could paint those separately. Mirrors, more interior parts. I wonder if these ones are, I think there's some body color interior parts on my mom's car. But the nice thing is I'll have plenty of reference material. I can go look at it and anytime I want. It's actually in our garage. And we got some Tamiya literature and a very typical Tamiya instruction manual, and then looks like metal transfers, some license plates, and marker lights, third brake light, just stuff like that. Handy little decal sheet. And the instruction manual, like I said, typical Tamiya booklet. Going to be very straightforward on this kit. Brakes and hubs, the skid plate and transmission, attaching the suspension, the rear axle and the drive shaft, and oh yeah, so you got two pieces, the front of the differential and then the back piece with the half shafts. Rear suspension, attaching the shocks to those hubs. And then we got, yeah, basically it's all separate underneath, so it'll be nice to detail underneath the car. Get the wheels attached, and then we have the interior. Of course, we'll be using this one. This interior is identical to my mom's as well. There's a screen that's separate. Looks like we got a decal for that. Oh, some of those small metal pieces, those are the chrome pieces. They're the vents. So that's nice. Those actually are kind of a cheap plasticky chrome, so that'll probably work pretty well. Maybe we don't even have to strip those. Looks like there is a separate gas pedal, which I did not see, but I'm sure it's in there. Shifter, emergency brake. This little piece flips up and down depending on what position you have the top, but it'll be it's a little plastic mesh piece in the back of the car, and then we have the figure, which is, like I said, a multiple piece situation. Very in-depth figure there. I don't think my mom would be too excited about the figure, and if I painted it with gray hair, she'd just be mad at me, so we'll probably just skip that. Interior parts, like I said, yeah, see, these ones were on the white tree. Those are going to be body color. I thought so. And then the cowl is separate. That's all very, very nice. So it's a very nice modern kit. I'm digging it. Got pieces of the bumper. Moving on to some final assembly bits, mirrors and wipers and the insides of the bumpers, and then you attach it, and hopefully don't mess up the metal transfers. And that's that. So I'll get on that. Probably prime this thing, like I said, sand it, prime it, get some paint on it if there's nothing too much to address, which it looks like there's going to be very little other than cleaning up where the protector is for the top, because this is just very nice. I'm not feeling really any mold lines. I don't know if they just hit them in the seams. I mean, it's just very smooth, but I'll get that prepped and painted, and or prepped and primed, and we'll see where we go from there. I'm still working on the Midget. The Cadillac had a small catastrophe. I was taping taping it off for one of the other colors and one of the pieces of plastic broke. I might have mentioned that. I've glued it back together, but still got the 31 Cadillac hanging out there. We'll get back on that as well. And sure, I've babbled on long enough. I will have another video update, I'm sure, this weekend if, get some time at the bench. And just want to thank everybody that's thrown me some support and shared my videos. I hope everybody's enjoying my builds and what I got going on. It's nothing new or exciting, but I'm having fun with it. I'm having fun sharing it and interacting with this great community. So hope you all have a great week, and if you're anywhere near where I am, I hope you stay warm, or further north, or anywhere where it's 26 degrees outside like it is right now. So you guys have a great day coming up and a great rest of your week, and I really appreciate you guys watching. Thank you.